Hello and welcome to this channel. I am Dr. Anshu coming back with the last month of the Hindu editorial analysis 31st March 2025. Here we have analysis of today's editorials, international relations, thought of the day. Starting with the thought of the day and today's day, let's have a recap. So front page is covering this. Second page is covering the Hindus front is 1 dead, 3 injured as a train derails in Odisha. Rebels Anukina, Myanmar accuses junta of attacks in earthquake hit region. Third page is covering about the Gudi Parva revive and the RSS is the India's banyan tree immortal. Culture and modernization, says Modi. Fourth page is covering the editorial about the 3C that haunts the Indian education today, beautifully presented by Sonia Gandhi. Next is the editorial about the gender gap in household chore persist in the urban Indias. Here we will discuss about the graphs and the charts. Sixth is covering one more editorial about the US is an idea whose time has come. And seventh is about the labor conference to discuss the issues of workforce. House panel as center. And next is the Indian Army teaches the Mandale in Myanmar to race on the setup of field hospital. And last is about what is the controversy over the Bodh Gaya temple. So these we are going to cover today. And entering the last day of this month, we're going to enter in the new month and how the time flies that we have spent the 3 months of this year. So time is flying so fastly. So utilize in a way, and exams are just about to less than 60 days. So let's starting with the front is about the thought of the day that success is walking from failure and failure with a no loss of enthusiasm. That is sometime the success is only about where we just get the failure and even we have a failure, there is a with the no loss of enthusiasm. So it shouldn't be ended with the loss of enthusiasm that we started we have started this journey, and it is not just end to only up to the success. The things that we enjoy the journey here with the full joy, excitement, just carrying to learning that what we are learning in this for the success, then one day it will achieved soon. So today's day is the happy it's a Gudi Padwa Ugadi, and also wishing you a happy Chaitra Navratri second day from Putri, and happy Cheti Chand. So let's starting with the front page with the Hindu about the it's a one more cases of the derail in Odisha, 1 dead and 3 injured. So this is basically 11 coaches of Bangalore Kamakhya Express go off track. 1 woman passenger seriously injured, and this impact was minimal as a train slowed down after crossing a bridge. So Railways announces the inquiry here. It's 11 coaches of train bound Kamakhya that is went off for 11:54 am. So the train has slowed down after crossing the bridge over the Mahanadi, and the impact of passenger was minimal. So East Coach Railways said that there is a deceased of identified Subankar Roy. 1 woman passenger suffered a grievous injury while 2 men were being treated as for a simple injury. So Indian Railways announced that a commissioner of railway safety would hold a detailed inquiry into accidents. Ex gratia with 5 lakh will be provided to family with a deceased, while 2.5 lakh will be given to grievous injuries and 50,000 with the simple injuries. So next is the rebel NUG in Myanmar accuses the junta of attacks in earthquake hit. So Myanmar resistance force on Sunday accused the military junta of launching attack on rebel. So here the armies again armies attacking their own persons and not contributing to their. So there's sources about the it's a NUG is a national unity government which had called a pause for fighting, and the junta aircraft carried out bombing raids in various locations. So the Sunday close on a Sunday close to the epicenter of Friday's earthquake. Among the areas that were bombed included the parts that were controlled by Tong National Liberation Army, and one of the soft armed group that has been fighting for junta since coup in 2021. So the army, our army is already went off there for first relief team reaches Mandalaya. We will discuss detail in the next pages. So next is about is the Gudi Padwa. On the process occasion of Gudi Padwa, it's a basically it's a Marathi New Year in the Gurgaon, Mumbai on Sunday. So this is a celebration. The Hindu cover it very this basically this is used for kind of a it's a chadar where rangoli is made. It's a new Maharashtrian New Year. So next is the RSS is India's banyan tree of immortal culture and modernization, says Modi. So the it's a Rashtriya Swambhak Sevak Sangh is a banyan tree of immortal culture. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday said services was vital year for organization, and Mr. Modi was in Nagpur in his first week to RSS headquarters. So the Mr. Modi was in Nagpur on the her first visit to RSS headquarters after becoming the Prime Minister, and it's after the late of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Mr. Modi became the second one to PM to make such a visit. The visit come during the organization in a century celebrations, and despite of this being subjected to attacks, the year of slavery, Mr. Modi India's economic structure was sustained because of a social movements persisted. So next is about the editorial covering the 3 C's that haunt the India's education, that was formally presented by the Sonia Gandhi, Parliament MP of Rajya Sabha and the Chairperson Congress of Parliament Party. So basically here she discusses the 3 C's of education that haunts the India's education, and this 3 C's is first is about the National Education Policy 2020 has a hidden reality of a government that is profoundly indifferent. The 3 C's covering about the centralization of power with a union government, commercialization, second one is commercialization, and third is about the communalization of a textbooks, curriculums and institutions. So next is the brazen centralization. So how it is unchecked, the centralization has been marked on a government functioning over last 11 years has been down the educations, and over the Central Advisory Board Education comprising the Ministers of Education, both union and state government, has not been convinced since 2019. Even while adopting the implementing a paradigm shift in education, NEP 20, the union government has not seemed to consult the state government on the implementation of policies. So initially the education was in the list of it was list of a state, but it was transferred to the concurrent list. So how there is a also there was a further discussion about the why it is not appointment of vice chancellors in the colleges. So the centralization, how it have a dominant role, centralization led to the control on the educations, and its implementation of policies even once the testament to the government singular. So even the voice other than a subject that is squarely in the concurrent list of Indian constitution. So the lack of dialogue is accompanied by bullying tendency. Among most disgraceful act committed by government is the coercion of a state government implementation, and PM Shri, it's a prime minister school rising scheme model school with withstanding the grants due to the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. So these funded have been states for year, and also there is articles discussion about that how the numbers of government schools has reduced and only the establishment of private schools. So center is how the center is just not playing that maintaining that school level roles, and they are not participating in maintaining the school standards level. So only now the few students are now studying in a government school due to not a better education. So there is not ability of teachers, not appointment the teachers for that schools. Also the education qualities are degrading, so students are not participating for that reason. So center is not appointment the teachers. So RT Act, which came to motivation to the government to cares about the pursuing publicity education, it is a flagrant violation of constitutional morality. So it's 363 reports about bipartisan parliamentary standing. Youth Sports has called for a release of SSA fund to state government. So in higher education, government has brought the draconian drafts University Grant UGC guidelines of 25, which have finally written the state government for appointment of vice chancellor. So there's not established funded operated by them, and the Indian government has given itself a chancellor of university near a monopoly power in selections of these universities. So basically uh, writer is covering here Sonia Gandhi, how did opposition cover it, the drawbacks of their opposition leaders also. So she was talking about after the 2014 developments and education, lacking education policies there. So yeah, the lower primary about the constitution guarantee for a primary school education. So RT provide a key safeguard to ensure the accessibility of primary schools and all India. A lower primary school class 1 to 4 within the 1 kilometer of every neighborhood, and upper primary schools with a 3 kilometer of each and every neighborhood. So NEP, which is generally mentioned to RT, seeks to overturn the concept of neighborhood schools by languages and schools complexes in unchecked privatizations of school education. Since 2014 we have seen that consolidation of 89,441 public schools across the country and establishment of 42,944 additional private schools. Countries poor have been forced out of public education. So in higher education, Union government has introduced the higher education financing grants in agency HEFA as a replacement to University Grants Commission. And so block grants and universities are being encouraged to the seek loans offended at market rates, obliged to HEFA as a which they obliged to repay their own revenues. And 364th report on demand for grant, parliamentary demand for a committee between 78% to 100% of these loans are being repaid in universities here. So there is a no communalization also. It's first is cover about the brazen centralization, second is about the commercialization, third is there is a communalization. So the third thrust is the communalization, that fulfillment of long standing ideological projects of Rashtriya Swayak Sangh and a Bharatiya Janata Party, indicating the cultivating hatred through the education system. The textbook of National Education Research and Training NCERT, backbone of the school curriculum, have been intentions of sanitizing the Indian history. So Mahatma Gandhi assassinations and the sections of Mughal Indian have been dropped from the curriculum. So how in addition the preambles to the Indian Constitution are dropped from textbook. Public backlashes from the government to commit the mandatory inclusion once again. And the key institution is that even in the India's Institute of Technology, Indian Technology Management, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru so heroically described the temples of modern India have been reserved for pilot ideologues. So UGC has ongoing attempts to dilute the qualification, proficiencies, vice chancellorships on latest ploy. So over the last decade, education system have been systematically cleansed the spirit of public services, and policy has been sanitized for any concern about the access to quality of education. So the consequences of this single-minded push of centralization, commercialization, and communalization has fallen squarely on students, and the carnage of India's public education system must end. So moving to the next article is about the gender gap in household chores persist in urban India. While increasing the number of urban men entertaining a paid employment, the share of them such as cooking, shopping, caring for children, and so this data basically represent that gender gap in household chores persist in urban India. Even there is a share of women paid work has risen, so too has the share of women involved in unpaid is household work. So both they are balancing both the things. Even if they are doing the paid works, also they are doing the to share the unpaid work also. So the data here shows about the chart one shows the urban men and women about 6 years of age who did a paid work. Basically this happens in urban area where the women are also doing a paid works, and even they have to add they have to also do their household chores. So the data is presenting the men's of 2019 it's the 58.1, so 24 it's 61.2, it's increases, and the women it's a 15.5. The share of urban men and women who provide unpaid services for their own use, unpaid services 15.5 to 18. So very less are paid here. Women above the 6 year of age who did paid work in India in 2019-24, among the urban women shared increase 15 to 18, a 2.5% rise, while the urban men 50 would self-empty and regular wages salaried and jobs. So chart 2 shows here the share of urban men and women who provided the services for their own use in 1924. Data is showing 79.3 and 24 it's at 8.1. It's 81, and women's is 23% and 28.5. So unpaid provides provision of services for their own household, accountings for management, purchasing goods, preparing or for servicing meals, waste disposal, recycling, maintaining own dwelling, gardening. Share of women doing such work increased from 29 to 80. It's 79.3 to 81, with a period with a share of men increase from 23 to 28. So chart 3 shows here. So the chart 3 shows here, it's a chart like a share of urban men and women above 6 years of age who took care of children, the sick, the elderly, differently able person in India 29-34. Share of urban women doing work increased from 25 to 31.8%. It's increases from 25 to 31.8. So it's more than 6% of share, while the men's it increased from 12.9 to 37.3. So increase 5. So chart 4 shows here, it's about the state-wise share of urban men horizontal axis, women vertical axis. Here the state-wise share in a percentage of so most states shows a very little variation, tends to cluster, and moving this not able to. So next is the Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland stand out here. So the horizontal axis, it's female graph and it's a male graph. So all the states shows a very little variation and tend to cluster closely together. So across the most states, the share of urban men who did household chores ranges from 20 to 40%, and the share of women is 75 to 85. So how it is just creating a burden on the women's of just balancing everything. And chart 5, like some like northern history states such as in Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, over 50% men participate in household chores. Among these four major states, Kerala led with 44% men participation in household. So chart 5 shows here the states, shows the states share of urban men horizontal axis. So urban male and urban female who did paid employment and related activities 24. So here too all the states are mostly grouped together. Across most of them, the share of urban men who went work ranges from 55% to 60%. So 55% to 60% ranges, and the share of women ranges from 10% to 25%. So among the major states, the Tamil Nadu stand out with 25% of women engaged in a paid work compared to 9% in Bihar, 10% in Uttar Pradesh, and share of women who were engaged in employment was high in Telangana, like 24%. It's Karnataka, it's 22%. In Himachal Pradesh, it's 23%. So there is a relatively higher share of women in paid work in Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Karnataka, Himachal Pradesh, when considered alongside the fact that over 80% women in these states like also do household chores, shows that many women are juggling both work and domestic responsibilities. They are struggling with juggling with both the work and domestic responsibility. So here that all the states mostly represented together here. So basically this data was little bit information about that. This data is taken from the time use survey of 2019 to 24, and released by Ministry of Statistics. That's Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementations. So these are. Next article is about, and US is an idea whose time has came. So writer is a former IPS officer and a former member of a Lokpal India. Sorry. So here she is discussing the whole issues of about the appointment of the judicial services, and also the things that is happening here. So here the social media has been watched with several memes that there one appeared for the best first time and fire brigade ignited more than so the extinguished. So about this High Court, there was a no marks of guessing about the incidents refer to recent shocking discovery of a Delhi fire brigade and half-burnt currency notes putting out that broke out in a residence of Delhi. So it had been the order by the Chief Justice of India be completed early and finding the made public. So judges in the eye of storm has been repatriated to parent High Court. Information reports followed the investigations. Many recall in the case of former CGI who included himself as a member of inquiry committee. Sexual harassment had been it's lodged by the court staff against the CGI, and this led to the such public outrage, and CGI had to opt it. That this incident happened just after the two recent development not helped in matters. So in first instance, Supreme Court of India took objection of order passed by Lok Sabha, taking a cognizance in the complaint of corruptions against the High Court judge. Its court is referred as suo motu notice, disturbing the order as well. So one thing is happened in the good thing in this case is that the CGI itself appointing the case, even it is a have a personal inquiry set up and the thing lacking is here the transparency that and there is also discussion about the appointment of the national judicial appointments of commissions that was already removed in the 2014. So, irrespective of the final verdict, which has once sharpened the focus on judicial accountability, raising the questions. So, effectiveness of transparency of internal inquiry mechanism. And second instance happens to be repulsive order like passed by High Court judges when lordship of abuse, grabbing the body and a part of minor and breaking the strings of pajama and were not enough to charge the accused of offense rape, attempt to rape. So it's mercifully this obnoxious order has been stayed of Supreme Court due to its total lack of sensitivity. So what is common factor in these three cases? That there are three cases the writer discussed about. So common factor in these three cases involve is the first about the appointment of this case. Second instances here. First instances happen about the happening the incident of the car and also the local suo motu complaints. So here the High Court judges, the answer is that all judges have passed through existing system of selection by collegium judges. So selection process that has drawn the criticism on for many years because of opaque nature, the stronghold of a few families over this system, and judicial dynasties sometimes result in selection of incompetent mediocre person. So have an Indian judicial services. So writer is talking about this also led to revival of debate on National Judicial Appointment Commission. So act was passed by Parliament for radiation of 16 state assemblies by assent of a president on India, and but the Supreme Court chosen is to strike down, although many were the view of review only to decide whether the legislation passed in Parliament has conformity with the constitutional provision. So debate much goes simpler, immediate, exclusive for all India services for senior position, judiciary, and service commission is highly competitive, transparent, based on selection process of that is that there should be appointment on the basis of the civil services commissions on the that is highly competitive, transparent, merit-based selection process for civil services such as Indian Administrative, Indian Foreign Services, Indian Police Services, and Indian Revenue Services. So, consulting as an Indian judicial has been discussed in the past, and recent the right has time to discuss about the pros and cons when state-level judicial services officers selected through a competitive exam. Why not have the same process at national level also? Of course, that is saying that. Good thing like it's a solution to a many things that are doubting enough and giving their inheritance to come in that power. So there are several advantages of Indian judicial service. First, it would result in higher judiciary becoming more inclusive, representing in the character. Second is the requirement may be trusted by UPSC by Supreme Court, stipulating criteria and methods of selection. Third is the transparent selection processes in the details in public domain. That is obviously much better than closed door meetings. And the Supreme Court may also evolve a system of oversight, ensure integrity, and to initiate disciplinary action against those who lack integrity. So, writers' views all greatly help in restoring the faith, people, as well as image of the judiciary, largest parliamentary democracy of the world. So next is about the whole the labor conferences discuss issues of a workforce house panel asked the centers. So the senior BJP leader Basvaraj Bomal pulled the Union Labour Ministry for not convening the Indian Labour Conferences ILC in the last 10 years, and the panel said the ministry did not convey the tentative date in next session. The 46th edition of conference was held in 2050. And the ministry have simply stated the government that has been hold a tripartite consultation important labor police issues from time to time, and committee has understand the holding the conferences of a critical steps toward a tripartite mechanism and fostering the social dialogue addressing evolving the needs of workforce. So they expressed the serious concerns over issue, argued that the conferences and traditional addresses pressing the labor issues. Observing during the last 10 years, many important decisions involving labor is issuing holding notifications of 4 labor codes in 2019 has been taken, and the committee of exhort the ministry of to intervene the Indian labor conferences in earliest opportunity of larger interest of the labor force, report said. So panel had noted that 32 states and union territories have a pre-publication rules, and Lakshadweep failed to it. Next is the Indian Army team reaches the Myanmar. So here already we have covered about the Operation Brahmos that has been for the sending up the Indian armies there, and 10 personals who are a part of Indian Army and 118 personal field hospital team under the Operation Brahmas landed at the Mandalay airport. So the person has commissioned the establishment of hospital, army officials said, and the earthquake struck that launched in Operation Brahmos to provide the assistance to Myanmar. So first relief and rescue detachment of a 10 personnel landed at Mandalay. So already the operation rescues reached there for providing the assistance to the Myanmar. So these all for today. So let's have a summary in ending this session. So starting the day with a thought of day and today's day. Second, the front page covering about the it's one dead, 3 injured in a train derails in Odisha, and rebel Nog in Myanmar accuses the junta of attacks. Fourth is editorial covering the 3 C's that haunt the Indian education. First one is just have a recap. It's a centralization. Second is commercialization. Third is communism. And this is a very important topic. Just you cut the editorial and keep it safely for the means writing. These points can help lot. So it is beautifully depicted and it is important. Fifth is about the gender gap in household chores persists in urban India. Sixth is about the US idea about whose time has come. And seventh is about the labor conference to discuss the issue of workforce, and Indian Army reaches to set up the field hospital. And 8 is one more left is it's a controversy over the Bodh Gaya temple. What is why the Buddhist monks are protesting there? So what is the protest before? So you see in November 2023, Buddhist monk held a rally in Gaya, submitted a memorandum to Central Office Government for desired effect of monks to scale up protest and rally in Patna last year. So this is act about the BT established a 8-member management committee and having partner Buddhist act. So Hindus have a local district magistrate. So they make a one. It's a BTA where there is a Hindus and Buddhist 8-member. It is 8-member committee have a equal number of Buddhists and 4 Buddhists and 4 Hindus. So the act made a local district magistrate an ex-official chairperson of committee as a district magistrate held from a majority community. So Buddhist bodies ever since these various Buddhist bodies have been raising the voice intermittently for giving autonomy of a Bodh Gaya temple. So what do the annals says, Edwin Arnold's well-known poem The Light of Asia talks about the Gautam Siddhartha enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, and Bodh Gaya was then described as a Mecca of Buddhism and many ways popularized Buddhism in West. However, the Bodh Gaya claims to be fame goes much further back in time. Like in 3rd century, Mauryan Empire Ashoka worshipped the Bodhi tree and built the temple there, and from time to Ashoka to Palas, the Bodhi temple continued to be Buddhist place of worship and site of pilgrimage. So Chinese travel Hein Sang visited in 629 AD during the reign of Harshvardha. Incidentally, Hein Sang is called its Buddhist site and said it to be have foundly the Buddhist relic here first statue of its Avalok Shira. So thing changes and an invasion of Bakyat Khilji on 13th century. The invasion has eroded the Pala rule and thus began a declining of Buddhism. Akbar regains in 1590 and a Hindu monk established a Bodh Gaya mutt and temple assigned to be hands to Hindu community. So this government has intervened like as BTA was passed Bihar and government faced in the dispute, so Mahabharata was, so both are just claiming for their own contributions, both the sects. So 1900 Chief Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav drafted Bodh Gaya Mahavir Bill to replace BTA and was supposed to be hand over the management of temple Buddhist communities. The bill prohibited idol immersion and Hindu marriages inside the temple. However, the bill went to cold storage. So this is all for today. So I am ending this session on a on this note that it's tomorrow with the new month, new beginning. Let's just forget all the things that happened in the 3 months. If you do well, it's very good. If you don't don't do well, you have still time to just don't be a procrastinator and things to do the things as according. Even the plans can be made. You can manage your time, anything in last these crucial stages. You just have to have a calm and stay calm minded and do work. Don't be distracted a lot, don't overthink a lot, just don't give a time to think much about the when the exams are nearby. I can feel this pressure, that this anxiety just have a how it creates a mind that not have a just not able to focus the things that are still pending and procrastinating on just due to the fear of failure in the examinations. So it's not don't have a fear of failure, just have do your work, and in the last these crucial days just make the everyday productive. This can, and it is all on your hand, but don't let your minds to be overthink. So thank you for today's session. Tomorrow we'll meet with the new editorial. Maybe the tomorrow's editorial will be late, but it will be uploaded soon. So stay tuned and stay connected for my editorial. Thank you for staying till the last. And if you're new to my channel, just spare some time, see the content. If you like it, subscribe to my channel so for the further updated informations of a Hindu editorial. Okay, bye, good night, study well.